close the night out right. Panel at the table in that half-dead light. Miss Robin in the middle, calling every shot, directing and producing, till the story runs hot. 1-1 from the city, badge heavy on his chest, towing that law like a wicked chain, spitting facts, no rest. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. JJ in the corner, state of the deep in his head. Which lies to toss and which ones to keep instead. Dakr from the cafe says forget about it, leans back, spins his thoughts like a blade cutting holes in the track. Lee at the front, head advocate, steady stare, every word like a warning, every silence a dare. All of them leaning in, clock crawling, eyes bright. Every secret feels louder than the buzzing of the night. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. You can bury it in paper, you can lock it in a file, but the truth bleeds through, drip by drip, tile by tile. We're dragging it to daylight, name by name, line by line. If you wrote it in the shadows, we'll read it out this time. Yeah. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite.
Evening. Hello out there, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. Welcome to another Crimes After Dark with Devil's Advocates. And we have a great panel for you this evening. We have myself, we have Dago from True Crime Cafe. If Amanda or somebody could put the link to his channel in the chat, you guys can make sure and go over and show his channel some love. And shout out to all his mods and everybody over there, everybody over in the sauce. And we also, of course, have Sir 11, our resident captain, and we have JJ from State of the Deep. So make sure you put the link to his channel as well. Go over and show JJ's channel some love. And we have a great show lined up for you tonight. We're going to be going over the new documents in the WSU lawsuit that came out. We're doing it live. We've gone over them somewhat, but we're going to delve into them here. And like the title of this video said, more fuckery is afoot. So we're going to get into it all. But it's good to see everybody. Let me go ahead and I will bring everyone up. I'm keeping the boss's seat warm. We're hoping he's going to pop in at some point. I know he was the cell phone hell thing still continues. So, but anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and start bringing everybody up. There's Sir Dego. How are you tonight, sir?
Good evening. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. I hope you are as well. It's great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you here as always. We've been missing you. So,
Missed you guys
yeah,
too, for sure.
yeah,
Busy, weird
yeah.
week. Every time there's
Oh,
a
I know.
holiday, I get all screwed up. I was telling Lee on the phone the other day, I'm like, um, I swear to God today was Sunday on Monday, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what the hell? It didn't matter anyway. My
I
entire
get it.
family was here until about 9 o'clock that night. So I was floored either way. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
truly and honestly,
Yep,
but
yep. I know what you
yeah,
mean.
that's
So,
why I wasn't here Monday, and I missed you guys, so here I am, and it's great to
yep.
be back.
Yay! Yay! All right, and here is 1-1. How are you tonight?
Good evening.
Oh no.
How are you guys?
How is everyone?
Here we go again.
Yes.
Oh no.
Hey, Night Mayhem.
We've got JJ. How are you tonight?
What's up, everybody? How
What's up,
you
brother?
guys doing? Denizens,
see you.
meatballs, mods. How's it going? Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Good to
yeah,
see
you
you.
too. I love seeing all these names in the chat that are peeps that are here. And so thank you so much for showing up tonight for us. Yeah, did you swallow pain 1-1?
Baby pain, baby pain.
Boy.
Oh,
It
that's
makes me
too funny.
gag.
Yeah, right.
Oh God. All right. Well, let's go ahead. I believe you have a monologue for us tonight, 1-1.
I do.
As
I
always.
do.
All right.
Special
We are
one.
ready.
So,
Okay.
as our great leader for tonight said that we're gonna be doing kind of sort of live. I didn't have time to like really like look at the document word for word, like every little thing. I kind of did like a little rough overview of it.
Right.
Yep.
So that will be kind of the topic for tonight, I guess. And my intro will address that. So, and then we'll, I guess, dive into it like we always do. So,
Okay. Sounds
all
great.
right. Is it good to be
Take her away.
alive in the den on
Always.
Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Juliana, Jackson, my beautiful wife. Love you guys always. All right, here we go. There are some cases that do not end when the sentence is read. They do not end when the cameras turn away. They do not end when the headlines decide the public has heard enough. They do not end when the name of the killer is known. Some cases keep breathing quietly, legally, digitally, in filings, in subpoenas, in email chains, in screenshots, in records no one thought would matter until 4 young lives were gone. On November 13th, 2022, 4 University of Idaho students, Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Knodel, and Ethan Chapin, were murdered in Moscow, Idaho. 4 names, 4 families, 4 futures stolen before they had the chance to become anything more than possibility. The criminal case answered one question: who? But now, in a federal civil case, another question begins to move through the dark. Who knew what? The defendant is Washington State University. The man at the center of the horror, Brian Koberger, was not a stranger to an academic system. He was a graduate student, a teaching assistant, a man studying criminal justice and criminology, while, according to civil filings, warning signs may have been gathering around him like storm clouds no one wanted to name. The families are not just asking what happened inside a house on King Road. They are asking what happened before. Before the sirens, before the crime scene tape, before the manhunt, before the sentencing, before the nation learned the names of 4 students who should still be here. The court documents open a different door, and behind that door are words that sound clinical until you understand what they mean. Threat assessment, student conduct, pre-employment screening, stalking, harassment, security escorts, reports and complaints, police records, internal communications, faculty knowledge, staff knowledge, administrative response. These are not the words of a ghost story. They are the vocabulary of institutional responsibility. The plaintiffs allege that Koberger engaged in a pattern of threatening, stalking, and predatory behavior that the Washington State University knew or should have known enough to act. WSU denies liability. The civil claims still have to be proven, and in a court of law, allegations are not verdicts. But here on Devil's Advocates, we do not stop at the easy version of a story. We go where the paper trail leads. And this paper trail is not clean. It stretches from a graduate program to a police department, from campus housing to threat assessment protocols, from employment records to digital messages, from the question of what was seen to the question of what was ignored. The electronic discovery order reads, at first, like the dry machinery of litigation. Custodians, data sources, search terms, metadata, hit reports, mobile devices, screenshots, text messages, audio files, video files, deleted indicators, conversation IDs. But in a modern case, that is where the living record hides, not just in what people say they remember, but in what their phones preserved, what their inboxes carried, what their calendars showed, what their group chats captured, what their systems logged before anyone understood the stakes. And the order contains a sentence every true crime audience should understand. Known responsive documents must be produced. Even if they do not show up in the search, even if they sit outside the usual folders, even if they are not convenient. In other words, if someone knows it exists, they cannot pretend the algorithm did not find it. Then there is the protective order, and this is where the story demands restraint, because some things are not evidence for public consumption. Some things are not content. Some things are not for thumbnails, speculation, or morbid curiosity. The documents acknowledge graphical material, photographs, video, medical records, autopsy records, crime scene material, the kinds of records the victims' families have fought to keep from being dragged into the public square. So let this be clear. This episode is not here to exploit the worst images of the worst day of these families' lives. We're not here to turn grief into spectacle. We're here because the documents point toward a harder question. When a system says it has tools to assess threats, what happens when the threat is inside the system? When people report fear, discomfort, stalking, harassment, or predatory behavior, who decides whether it is serious? Who writes it down? Who forwards the email? Who closes the file? Who says we handled it? And who pays the price if they are wrong? The Idaho 4 case has always had a darkness at its center, but the civil case pulls the darkness outward, away from the crime scene, away from one killer, toward the rooms where decisions were made before anyone knew the cost. It asks whether there were signals in the noise, whether there were warnings beneath the routine, whether the institutions built to protect students saw danger approaching or saw it and looked away. And maybe the most haunting part is this. The families are not asking these questions in theory. They are asking them with discovery deadlines, with subpoenas, with witness lists, with protective orders, with metadata, with nearly 90 potential fact witnesses, with every preserved message, every recorded complaint, every policy, every procedure, every decision point now becoming part of the record. This is the case after the case. the one that does not ask only what Brian Kohlberger did, but what others knew, what they had, what they missed, what they minimized, and whether 4 students walked unknowingly through the shadow of failures that began long before the night America remembers. Tonight, we open the filings. We separate allegation from evidence, evidence from rumor, and rumor from grief, and grief from the thing that grief so often demands, accountability. This is not about easy answers. This is not about clean villains and clean heroes. This is about systems, silence, warnings, liability, and the uncomfortable space between what is legally provable and what may be morally impossible to ignore. Welcome to Devil's Advocates. And with that, live from New York, it's Wednesday night.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. As always, your intros, love those. I do want to start off real quick here. KS Jessenart was already giving out memberships here. So
Oh,
I
wow.
wanted to thank them for doing that. They gave 5 memberships. So for all you who were able to get a new membership, let's there's all kinds of stuff out there for you to watch on the so I hope you'll take advantage of that. And for $2.99 a month, there's all kinds of great, exclusive footage and stuff like that. So, okay.
Yeah.
So, which document do you want to start off with here?
Just
Um,
pick one of the 3 and go in. I mean, what
Okay,
I'll say
all right.
while you're pulling it up, I would just say
Yeah.
real quick, just a real brief overview. But I don't know if JJ or I know or Dago really like had time to look at it much. I know we're gonna look at them now. My brief overview of it, like you'll see, there's like half of the document, a big part of it, as I stated in the intro, is all about keeping everything private. Like there's a whole
Right.
big thing we're gonna get to. You're gonna see that they are all about handing over discovery, but it's all about keeping it like private from the public, which is it's like
Yeah.
I have again, I have no I don't need to see bloody bodies and all that. I don't need to see
No.
it.
No.
I do think that the autopsy, the bodies, I do think that they should be available. Maybe in Idaho, or if someone wants to do research, they should be made available. It would help get rid of, I don't want to say nonsense because we don't have the autopsy. Were body parts cut off? Did this happen? Did that happen? Like just it.
Well, at the
They
very
don't want to
least,
be.
they should at least send us those diagrams. One
Yeah.
that's like a stick
Right.
figure that
The
shows us.
diagram. At least
Yeah.
That's it.
right. So I don't care about the bloody photographs. That you can keep them. I don't need to see them.
Agreed.
But all the other stuff, we should be able to see. I mean, it's enough of this nonsense already. Enough.
Fully agree. Because how do we know, folks? How do we know? How do we have like an absolute fact of the way this case has been, that what they're telling us is even remotely true? We don't. Okay.
Exactly. We
We
don't.
have no idea. And like I know JJ
Nope.
can back this up too, because he has said this before. They could throw anything at us and say, "Here it is. There. Now shut up."
Yeah.
And we don't know that that's true. They very, very likely can say something or show us anything just to shut us down.
Yeah.
Truly and honestly at this point.
Yeah. And we have a big problem because, and then we'll get into the document. Just real quick, I know there's a handful of people out there, some creators or whatever, other people attacking and bashing Turvey and Wickholm and whatever motive they had or ulterior motive, whatever you want to say. The bottom line is we didn't know specifically that there was definitively a clump of hair in Ethan's hand. So you could say whatever you want about Turvey. You could attack him. He was doing this. He was meant to do this. He's meant to do that. The bottom line is, why didn't the state test it? Okay,
Right.
I understand,
Right.
and I mean, Ann Taylor already had the info that it did not match Koberger, so she had that. There was no match to Koberger, so it's clearly not him. So she didn't have to test it. But where is the judge? Where is the state? Like, why are we not testing it? And that is like the biggest piece of exculpatory evidence if I've ever seen any in my life. So
Because it points away from Brian Koberger,
Right.
and that can't happen. Okay.
right,
I said this before.
Right.
It has to be Brian, no matter what the outcome, no matter what the circumstance. It has to be Brian. And like I said before too, Brian was always going to be guilty, no matter what happened. It was going to be him. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if they test it. It's going to point to somebody else, and then it would fall away from the one perpetrator narrative that they put out there, and they can't do that either. Okay, so there again, that's why it wasn't done, in my opinion. Now, why did the defense not do it? We have questions there. I agree, fully and
Yeah.
honestly agree. Okay,
Yeah.
but I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I refuse. I'm not playing this team shit. I won't do this in my channel either. I'm not Team Taylor and Team Turby and Team what the
Right.
fuck all that. That's just ridiculous.
We
Okay,
just want the
Yeah.
truth.
that's it.
Uh-huh.
We
That's
just want
it.
the truth.
We've had enough.
And whatever it
division.
takes, right? Whatever it takes to get that.
That's
I don't, and
ma'am.
that's the bottom line for me.
And
Yes,
that
to
I
me-
don't
ma'am.
care who brings forth the information. I don't care if
That's
it's
right.
Right.
Whitcomb, if it's Turby, if it's I don't know Joe Schmo down the street or whatever it is. So
That's
Right.
it.
hey,
He's
look
Let
here.
us
who's here.
Let us make
The
that
man
decision
of the
for ourselves.
hour. That's right. That's right. So I'm gonna pull that down off the stage.
Yeah,
and
the
bring
trust
up-
me, bro angle doesn't work because it's not like
No.
people
No.
don't know that there's a lot of corruption in government.
Well, right.
Right.
That's it right there. Absolutely, JJ. And that's exactly what they want us to just overlook the facts of the
Yeah,
fact,
right.
the
Yeah.
basis of the fact,
Yep.
and say, okay, whatever you say,
Lee-
I'll eat.
And I
No.
find it
Yeah. Hey-
I find it very, very convenient in timing. I mean, maybe it's a coincidence,
Lee-
but I find it very convenient of Turvey making a big deal about the hair that he found and other stuff, and then all of a sudden BK gets a plea deal. I
Right.
find it very
Hey,
interesting.
Yes.
Lee, are you ready?
It looks like he's setting. Oh.
Put your
Nope.
pants
Said no.
on, DA.
Get your pants on.
Whatever that was.
I don't know. He's like, no.
Oh no, I'm peeing right now.
Here we
Yeah.
go. It's Groundhog's Day again.
Yep.
Here we go again.
He's gonna have to give me a thumbs up or something.
National
okay, the one
Lampoon's cell
Yeah.
phone extravaganza.
What
You
did
know,
do with the cell
as
phone? I
we've
missed out
gone
on that.
Sorry. As
No, you're
we've
good.
gone forward, the further we've gotten, the more that I'm starting to believe that the very basic elements of the case that we've been told are not accurate. And I
No.
don't mean like the PCA. I don't mean like
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yep.
I mean literally what took place in that house, what was reported, like
The basics,
is-
right?
the most
Yeah.
basic elements of it.
Right.
I'm starting to think that that stuff is not what really happened. And that is the reason why they
Yeah.
want to censor everything, redact everything, omit a lot of things. I think it's because the very information that we were told is not accurate.
Yep.
Now, I've got my theories as to why that information was never presented to the public. I can't prove any of it, but
Right.
more and more and more, I get the feeling that there's certain aspects that we were told from the beginning that aren't even accurate, like
And yeah,
Right.
basics.
Right. Yeah.
and you are on point. I've been thinking this lately too, JJ. Like the stuff that we know to be what we believe fact, the basics, the very, very basics of the entire format of the case. I've been wondering recently. It's funny you brought this up because it's been on my mind lately. What if that's the fact and it's completely off from what we've actually known from the beginning, degrading everything else, throwing everything else out. Okay, what if it's completely different than that? And if they start giving us some points of the things we're asking for, and it's going to tell us that story, and everybody's going to realize that and go, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I agree
this-
with JJ on that.
Because think about
Yeah,
it.
this-
One last thing. Think about it. If they lied to the public about the very most basic aspects of what took place,
Yeah.
and I don't mean just the timeline and things like that. I mean the most basic aspects. Then
Definitely.
they can't. That's glaring.
Can't-
Like they
you can't
can't
fix it.
make an excuse for that.
No,
yeah.
that's absolutely
And
true. That's
Rubik's
exactly what I
Cubes-
meant.
Rubik's Cube's comment here is great. How dare we want receipts?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
we're I get so tired of everyone, not everyone, but the powers that be and other people, families, and whatever, shaming us for wanting to know the truth.
Right. And the timeline
God
stuff is
forbid.
like it gets like a little ridiculous too, because
Yes.
at the point of this, yeah, it was 2022. I mean, come on. You want us to believe you don't know where a certain person was at a certain I mean, it's just ludicrous to even to believe any of his nonsense. But there are people out there, they believe it, this is like what they say, but
They're afraid to believe anything else. When that's the problem, and
yeah, I mean,
I get that, but damn, enough is enough already.
And
Yeah.
one of the things I've talked about and on here before is that human beings have instincts. We may not always be good at sort of sorting through what those messages mean that we get from our gut, but
right.
I believe that people know, and they have known for a long time, a large percentage of people, or a good percentage of people, that something is off. We're not being told the truth. And
Right.
Right.
I tend to believe in a collective unconscious, and I'm not even really like a woo woo kind of guy,
Yeah.
but based on what
Mhm.
I know about quantum physics and what I've
Yep.
studied in psychology, Carl Jung, one of his theories is the collective unconscious. I believe that exists, as weird as it sounds, and that
Yeah.
people pick up on things.
This comment right
It's
here,
ridiculous.
and they're
Yeah.
making us pay thousands and thousands of dollars for shit that we're supposed to be able to see. My bullshit meter just is off the charts anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, in any case that you have, I could tell you, you don't have everything is not always like cut and dry. Okay. You get like certain things get a little messy, a little bit, with certain details. It's never like, oh, we got this, like exactly. But you look at any case that comes up, anything that comes up, the first thing that they do is they go to cell phone data immediately. Again,
Right.
that's not proof of life, but if they have kind of like the proof that someone was alive, like they kind of know, okay, this person was going to a party and was with these people, they go right to the phone data immediately, and they're able to track.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now we know that this person was at this party with this with
Exactly.
these people. Let's interview. Why are we not getting this info? Like,
Great question, sir.
I mean, no, they're trying to hide it. I get it, but it's like it's so obvious that they're trying at all costs. Like, oh, we couldn't extract Kaylee's phone. We couldn't get into it. It's like, stop.
Well, the worst part of
Oh.
it, one is that they think we believe that. That's the
Yeah.
worst part.
I'm gonna see if Boss Man's ready. Okay, he says he
Yeah,
is.
he
So
gave us
here we
thumbs up.
go. Here is the man.
What's up?
Hello.
Wow.
How are ya?
Hello.
I'm
Did you get
okay.
your phone sorted out, DA?
Dude, I'm gonna knife you in the back for even asking that question.
Well, we need a follow-up. You got to tell
Is
us.
that bad? Jeez.
Yeah, I did ask for a hand job at the store. They turned me down on that. I said, "Can I get
Oh,
something?"
damn. I hate when they do that.
This is bad. Oh my God.
Oh
See, and
my
the internet services, so I don't even know if I can do this. I'm literally doing this in a closet. The internet is horrible. But yeah, I did get my new phone, so there you go. And I'm in Vegas, and it's hotter than the pistol. It's actually only about 80, but it feels worse than that. Probably because I've been huffing luggage from the car up a flight of stairs in 80-degree weather. And yeah. Anyway,
Oh,
so
well,
I'm
yeah,
here.
there's that.
I wanted to say hi. We do. I can't stay terribly long, unfortunately, because I have family.
Your
my wife has
volume just
family.
dropped dramatically.
That's awesome. Hold on.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
There we go.
The picture is sharp.
Well,
Yeah, your
thank you.
picture
You
looks
should be
smart. Did you sign any autographs yet?
No. I didn't even see anybody yet. We went to the convention center, and there's another convention happening. So I was surprised to find zero CrimeCon merchandise or signage anywhere. I just know
Wow.
looking at the sessions that the ballrooms are listed correctly, so I know we're in the right convention center area. But there's another convention that's ending right now, so they're breaking down a convention. So apparently they're going to start setting up probably tonight, because tomorrow is picking up badges and stuff like that. It's not an official CrimeCon day. The official CrimeCon day starts Friday, so tomorrow's picking up badges for early registration for those who want to pick it up. So we'll go do that tomorrow, and I'll take some pictures for people that are interested in seeing what the early setup of CrimeCon looks like.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Lulu. Don't like lies. Love Thursdays with the community. Appreciate
Nice.
that. I think that came through me.
Very nice.
Yeah, I
Very
think so.
nice.
Did it? Yes.
Lulu, where are you from? I saw the different currency on there.
Canada? What?
Australia?
Australia?
Is it different?
I don't know. I could be reading it wrong, but there was like
I think it said A, then $, and then $7.99.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it might have been, like sometimes with Canada you see CA.
Yeah,
Some
right.
kind of
Yeah.
deep state currency.
Yeah, she's in.
Yeah.
She's an Aussie. It's in the chat.
Bitcoin.
So,
Thank you,
Yep.
Lulu.
so for everyone who's joining us, yes, Lee is in Vegas at CrimeCon, so that is where he is coming to us from this evening.
Ooh, I'm nice and washed out with that big old ring light in my face, aren't I? I just literally, I mean, you guys were starting the live as I was just pulling into the parking lot for the Airbnb. So I'm still unpacking. And like I said, family's unpacking and stuff like that. And they're fine with me checking in with the show and saying hi. So I appreciate you guys holding down the fort. Sounds like you guys were already talking about the legal documents in the WSU. Is that the WSU lawsuit?
Yeah. We just
Okay.
briefly, we didn't get into it yet. We will. We're going to.
All right.
That's a good
Yeah.
light. It actually, you can't
it's
really
not
lie.
bad.
Yeah.
I don't think you can lie about your age now, Lee.
Shit. All right, hold on. I gotta about that.
Right.
So yeah. Hold on, man.
How was the
Look at that. We'll dim that shit a little bit. There you go. Look at that.
There you go.
There you
Okay.
go.
how was the car trip?
Again, I'm gonna knife you in the back for asking that question. So we started at
I got
6 o'clock in the
guns.
morning. Yeah, we started at 6 o'clock in the morning yesterday, and we were supposed to spend about 3 hours in Boise. We spent about 7 to 8 hours in Boise. We almost never got out of there. We tried to catch an hour nap on the road at like midnight, and then another hour at like 4 in the morning, and then another hour in the parking garage of the Caesar's Palace for another hour. And so we're running on fumes. The drive was very, very, very long, and if it wasn't for all the cell phone shit that we had to go through, it probably wouldn't have been bad. But it's like a 13-hour drive from where we were at, so we felt everything. So yeah,
That's crazy. I'm surprised you didn't fly.
Wow.
well, we thought about it, but then to fly, then we got to rent a car and all that shit, and or I could have transportation. And I thought it sounded like a great idea just to drive. It's only 13 hours, and then I can have my own car for the entire week. It sounded like a great idea
Until you did it.
Yeah, maybe we should have flown.
Kathleen
Yeah.
Bell says, I'm not even there, and I'm just so excited to see you there. So yeah, we're all
Very
excited
cool.
too.
Very cool. Yeah, thank you very much. And
Well, hopefully, with shitty trip or there and all the other problems, hopefully you ended up in a good Airbnb and it'll be comfortable for you and all that.
Yeah, I hope so as well. And it's funny because I've been wanting to upgrade my phone, and so I got a phone that they said was the top of the line phone for podcasters, TikTokers, YouTubers, and I spent 3 days getting that phone. I'm actually stunned that I have it. It's still in a box. I haven't had time to unbox it and get it charged up and get the transfer started from my old phone. So that part of the problem, part of what I wanted is I wanted the better phone for live streaming from the CrimeCon floor. Because sometimes there's low light areas, and this phone is supposed to be a lot better in low light. So I'm going to try to do some streaming from CrimeCon. Just make sure that if you see Steve Gonzalez creeping up behind me, that you guys warn me on the stream. That I'm about to
A
get
knife in
shot.
the back.
Right. It's knifed in the back at CrimeCon. So
What phone did you get, if we can ask?
it's the Samsung S26 Ultra with the stylus pin. So it's got superb cameras. It's got really fantastic cameras. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the
It'll
definite
do you
upgrade.
good.
They told me when I got
S23 Plus, so I upgraded quite a bit on the camera.
right. They told me I got that Motorola, whatever the hell it was, with the stylus and all that. Yeah, and it. I mean, it's got the camera's amazing on it. It's got 4 different things. You know what I mean? And it's great for streaming, but phone wise, it's garbage. So you can't get one without the other. I guess I'm never gonna get that. I'll be going to what you have next. So
yeah, it's a really good phone.
Yeah, I've heard that. A lot of really good ratings for it. So
they're not cheap, that's for sure.
No, they're not.
No.
Especially if you want one with a good amount of storage, it's pricey.
Here's the thing: they gave me for my S23 Plus, they gave me $1,100 in trade-in value, which was a hell of a lot of the purchase of the other.
Yeah.
Granted, but anyways, a lot of it was knocked off with my trade-in.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, they have.
That's great.
They have. It's like buying a car nowadays. That like you have to make payments on your phone while you're making your bill payment and all that other stuff. You don't just buy them outright unless you have that kind of money.
Donation. I had to leave a sperm donation, and I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're good.
Firstborn, all that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's so funny because last night, Dago, you weren't here. We had a poll to see who liked Samsung versus iPhone, and it was like neck and neck. Like Samsung beat it out by 1%. That was it. So,
I can't.
I'm actually. I'm surprised.
I'd have probably been in the other percent too, because I hate iPhones with a passion, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might switch to an Android phone.
There you go. Go ahead, JJ.
No, I was just saying because I was saying yesterday, like the only reason I went back to an iPhone, I was mostly using Android phones, just because I thought it would be better with my MacBook.
A Mac,
but
right.
It's so you have to do so many extra steps on an iPhone. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good. I have a 15 Pro Max. It's not the newest one, but it's just
you gotta pay for everything.
Pay for them. I just don't think they're worth it, honestly.
No, because after you have the phone and you paid for all that, to get anything else on it, app-wise or anything, you got to pay for everything with an iPhone. From what I've seen, and I just like, no, I'm good with that. Keep it.
Yeah.
Keep it.
They used to piss me off nonstop. Like I couldn't even, and this was like back to the iPhone 5. I don't know, what was that 10 plus years ago? I couldn't even share.
Right.
I couldn't even share. I couldn't even share a ringtone with anyone.
No, you can't.
You had to
have
go
buy
through
everything.
iTunes. Yeah, so I can pain in the ass.
Yep.
Absolutely. Just a devil woman says, "Don't lie, Lee. You walked in there and was like, do you know who the fuck I am?" So, and they went, "Here's a $1,100 refund."
Yeah. I'm going to have to try that when I upgrade my phone. I'm going to have to be like, wait, hold on. You don't know who I am?
You don't know who the fuck I am? The fuck's wrong with you? Come on.
I really don't have I don't feel like I have a big ego. In fact, it was hard for me to get up and do this kind of stuff on stage, really hard. But it was funny because there was a moment when I was at the one of the 5 AT&T stores I was at, and I was wearing my Devil's Advocates gear, and they said, "What's the Devil's Advocates?" And I said, I should pull out a card, slap it down on the ground, and go, "That's who I am." Like that's who I am. Like, no, but anyway, so I did pass out my card, by the way, and they were excited to watch the show. And it was kind of funny because I think I told the story last night, but I was in Boise, Idaho, and we started talking about Kohberger's case, and he was afraid to tell me that he's not sure Kohberger is the guy that did it. And I'm like, well, then you should watch my show because you'll enjoy it. He's like, really? So he thought it was like all a dirty secret. Like, I'm not sure he did it. Like, yeah, a lot of us aren't sure he did it. So anyways.
Yeah.
I didn't know
yeah.
you had cards. You have like business cards for this? That's
I have
awesome.
business cards. Yeah, and in fact, I printed so many of them, I'll never give them out in my entire lifetime. But my wife keeps telling me, you need to get more like bold, and so I do have to practice. When someone says, "What do you do? What do you do? YouTube?" I'm like, "Yeah, here, let me give you a card." So I've been handing out my card more often now lately, especially at CrimeCon, right? Because at CrimeCon, people are
Hey.
like, "What's that? Here's a card. What's that? Here's a card."
There you go. There
yeah.
you go.
Tara
Thank you.
became
Yes,
a
thank
member
you.
for you, Dago.
I see that, Tara. Welcome
Yeah.
to the source. Forget about it. It's great to have you
And
in the
then,
source, Miss Tara. And she dropped
And
5
then
new
she donated.
memberships.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah. Looks like Colleen Gomillion, Just Lurkin, Jameson Justice, Annette Pendergrass, and Kat Lynn. Welcome to the source. Great to have you here. And thank you again, Tara. So very generous, and we appreciate you so much.
By the way,
Yeah,
Kathleen Bell
great.
said she likes her Android flip. So my wife did get a new flip, by the way, and that was half of the reason why it took us so long to get what we wanted, because everyone had the S26 Ultra in stock. What they didn't have is the terabyte version. No place carries the terabyte version. I didn't get a terabyte. I ended up getting 512s because I was just like, screw it. Like, and hardly anybody carried the 512, but they carried the 256 gigabyte. But anyways, Rhonda asked, hey, so can I get the latest flip, which at the moment is the 7, although I think the 8's coming out. And because it's coming out, nobody has the flip. We've called so many stores trying to find the Android, or the Samsung flip for her. She did get her new flip 7, so she's pretty excited as well.
That's good. Yeah, the flips are a good phone too. I really like them. I like that they fold up so small.
Yeah.
It's the compact. Yeah.
That's the only thing I don't like about those, because I'm afraid I'd lose it. That's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fold it up and drop it somewhere. I'd be like,
But you won't you won't go wrong with the Samsung, the 26 Ultra is great with camera and video and all that.
The camera on that, I think one of my son's friends has that one. The camera is absolutely amazing. Literally amazing. It's like I've never even seen anything like it. It's crazy. I thought the camera on this thing was insane. I was like, I got the best camera in the world.
Yeah.
No.
It even has a setting on it. I don't know what it's called. Like, Lee, you probably would know. So, like, when you're walking with the phone, if you want to record, there's a setting that you can set so that it keeps like the horizon even. So it doesn't,
everything
doesn't bounce around. It's pretty cool.
Stabilization. It's awesome.
The AI on the phones are getting better and better, and the stabilization kind of stuff is going to be amazing as well. Yeah.
You should be able to do some great videos, and that's the best place to test it out at there. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how they feel about it. I mean, obviously, you can't really record while you're in session. They don't want you recording on stage, but you can walk around the floor in the merch store and record that. So,
yeah, I've seen a lot of different videos, like I said, where there's people walking and talking, meeting up with people. Video. I mean, it'd be a good way to do that at least. It should show everything that you want to see. So,
yeah. Yep. So we're pretty excited about that. I can't really tell you much more other than, like I said, we're just kind of gonna get settled in here tonight at the Airbnb, and unfortunately, I can't stay too long because the family is here and stuff like that. But we're gonna have dinner in a little bit, and we're gonna relax. And then tomorrow is the only thing on the agenda tomorrow, but I'll try to get some footage for people. And again, I'm posting footage, by the way, for members only. So you get that if you're paying for a member. I'll do it as shorts, YouTube shorts for members only. But also on the Discord channel, I have an event channel called CrimeCon 2026, and I've been trying to post any shorts that will allow me to post there, because Discord has a limit on how big of files you can post. So I'm trying to post both to the Discord CrimeCon 2020 or 2026, and as well as the stuff. And Lana, I don't think is coming. Lana said she was excited about joining us. She actually almost rented a room with my Airbnb. I told her it was dirt cheap and she can have it. And I realized it's probably weird because she doesn't even know me. But she was actually, I think she was seriously considering it. She was working on it. But I think that the logistics fell through. I might meet AR Hayes. I don't know. He told me a couple times that he'd be down here. Although, like I said, I'm not sure AR Hayes really wants to talk to me anymore.
Oh my God.
Negative things about my channel, so I don't know that he really wants to move anymore. But if he does, I'm all for it. I have no beef with him. So, anyways, yeah.
People are different in person sometimes than they are here. So
for sure, yeah. So I don't hold any grudges against people about that kind of stuff too. So
right, absolutely. Well, hopefully you have a good trip.
I did want to do, I did want to do a quick shout out to I can't speak. Senior
Senor.
Wazowski. I don't know if he's in the chat or not, but he did a pretty. I didn't stay in the whole time, but he did a pretty good live. I guess earlier where
Oh
he
yeah,
went
good
back and he
show.
was kind of going over some of BK's papers and stuff that he had
Right.
written, and some of them were like just a month before the crime, the homicides happened, and it's really some real interesting stuff. You go just going through it and seeing some of the stuff that he was talking about. He had a whole thing where a whole section where he was talking about people who plead guilty and are not.
Give me one moment. I'm going to be back.
Sure.
It got real quiet out in the other room, so either everybody just left me and I have the rest of the show to join you, or they're here and they're all being super quiet, waiting for me to get done. So let me go find out what the hell's going on. I'll be right back.
And what were you? Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Oh, I was just saying so I mean, one of the articles that he wrote, Robin and I covered, I think all the way back in January, I believe, on a Sunday, where BK was basically talking about certain things that law enforcement needs to be like, have high-end technology training. And then he was also
Oh yeah.
doing a lot of research about, he said there's not really a lot of information out there about burglaries. Like there's a lot of stuff on sex crimes, all kinds of studies and numbers, and you can, there's all kinds of, crime, crime experts and psychologists and this and that talk about why people commit sex crimes, but there's not really
Yeah.
an enormous amount on burglary. So it's interesting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Hate to interrupt, guys, but yeah, so the family is still here. I told you that I'm broadcasting from a closet. My wife told me it's time to come out of the closet. So
Gotta get out of the closet.
I'm gonna go join the family. Thanks for letting me come in and crash the show. Again, I'll have footage from CrimeCon. I'll try to show you guys images of what it looks like as they're setting up and what the pre-registration. And by the way, having been like with JJ last year, like when at CrimeCon, that first day, oftentimes that's when you see people like Vinnie Politan from Court TV and in sweats, having just got off the plane or whatever, and checking in to grab his badge. It's like a weird environment. You might see a lot of TV personalities kind of walking in, having just got there and just really checking in to grab early stuff. So it's a pretty cool environment, real laid back. Maybe I'll get punched in the mouth my first night on the show. So I'll let you guys know how tomorrow's going. Thanks for letting me crash the show, and have a great one, guys.
Good luck, dude.
Take care.
Say hi to Rhonda for us.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah. So, right before you get into the document, I just that I mentioned that thing that Senor Wazowski brought up. We've spoken about it before, but just like bringing it back, I was just curious, like what JJ, Dago, and Robin, like what, and in the chat, what you guys think. Do you find, I know we know what he was going for in his degree, right? So PhD, and this stuff, but do you find it like really strange, or I don't believe in many things that are coincidences. They can happen, but I find it highly odd that he had all these like weird books, and he had just part of a paper he wrote about people who are convicted, who pled guilty but aren't guilty. Like, what do you guys feel about that? It's like they go into his apartment and he just has like all these books and all this stuff. It just seemed like a little odd to me.
I mean, yeah, it was interesting. Well, I did a show on it. Oh Jesus, I can't remember when it was. It was a long time back, but
yeah,
the way I titled the show is like he wrote his own story, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of his papers were the basis of exactly what he's going through at this point, which was very interesting.
Right. It's
This is probably the only thing that I believe could slightly be a coincidence. And you know, I don't
right.
typically. I'm just right there with Devil Woman. I don't believe in coincidences in true crime, and definitely not in this case. But this one,
No.
it's ironic. I don't know, guys. It's very hard to take what it could mean, if anything. You know, it
Yeah.
kind of plays to the fact that a lot of times there's a lot of people that believe Brian works with the feds. Okay, I'm not saying I believe it. I'm not saying it's true, and I'm not saying it's not true. But it's interesting, is all I'm going to say. It's an interesting angle to look at, thinking about what was found in the man's apartment, what he was working on, his
Yeah.
papers, the books that he had listed, things. I mean, you can't look past it.
And
I'll
then-
just put it that way, in my
yeah,
opinion.
and then just another quick thing to add on to it. And I'm curious, like what Robin and JJ have to say. I think we were talking about it the other, or it came. I know we talk about everything. Whenever in another case have you seen video that gets leaked from inside a prison? Like I'm not saying it's never happened. I can't remember ever seeing that.
You don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, I've
Yeah.
said, it's like it's grooming. Like, oh, here's the guy. Look, oh,
Yeah.
it's planting in people's mind the guy in prison, right? And I still firmly believe in my theory. I think that
Mhm.
Brian was either one of two things. He was either working on research through the NIJ funding and was brought in for this case to be used willingly,
Right.
or he was somehow had been connected with law enforcement through either internships or applying for a job or whatever it could have been through the funding that he got connected with law enforcement in some way, shape, or form, and was inserted into the case because they needed, number one, to have somebody so life could go on and students could go back to school. That's big money. And I've talked about this ad nauseum. When you have a university, even one that's not huge, like University of Idaho, there's a lot of money involved because not just the tuition, but what the money made off of student loans,
Right.
that's
Right.
connected to banking, right? Because who basically does the lending? You may have a loan servicer, right? But that is not who the money is coming from. That's just
Right.
who services your loan. So though all those different loan servicers, I know I still have student loans. I went to college.
Yeah.
That's not the bank that supplied the money. That comes from banks that invest in student loans, right? And they get a return. There's a lot of money on the line. You get the point that I'm making. They wanted to have this somebody to present to the public. And as I always say, when big money's involved, it's connected to big power. And I think Koberger was brought in, and I don't think he was framed. I know all about framings that happen. We all know about that. But in this case, there's too many other things that point to an operation. So whether we can confirm that there was a CI or more than one CI in that house or not, there were other things going on in that area. And so the leak, the car getting pulled over twice, right? Oh, look at this guy. Here's the white Elantra. Here's the guy, right? It's all a little too convenient, in my opinion.
Agreed. Just like one brought up too. How often do you see photographs of a convicted murderer in prison as soon as he goes to prison? Now, and again, I'm not saying it's what it means, okay? But to me, it was kind of, and the fact that the person that did it, it was put out there that they resigned, so there'll be no consequences. Miss me with that bullshit, okay? Miss me. That's ignorant. So at that point, you know, is it something that was done just to say, here he is, he's in prison,
Yeah.
see him, See him here? He's in prison. I mean, that's what it fucking looks like. I'm sorry, but it does. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
not saying I believe it, and I'm saying that that's the be all end all. But come on, guys. This shit is so weird. Okay,
Yeah.
there's so many
And
things that have happened that make zero sense.
yeah. And this
Pamela
comment from
Smith, I
Pamela Smith,
agree.
yes, we keep trying to make sense,
Right.
but it never will until we forget the original narrative. And that is
Exactly.
so true,
Yep.
because there's a lot of things, as we all know, right from the get-go,
Yep.
that didn't ring true with this case, that made absolutely no sense and defied logic. So,
Yeah.
I mean, at
it's like
this
you have to
point,
forget everything.
that's what I'm saying. At this point, going back to what JJ said early on, like when he first got here in the beginning of the show, it makes you wonder: do we even know the basics of the damn case at this point for real? It makes me question it, guys. I mean, God damn it, JJ, get out of my head. You're constantly. I got thoughts you said last time I was here with you that are still stuck there. About
That's
the
my
whole
job. There you go.
the damn CIA bullshit. They got stop working. We're not working right now. Come on. Anyway, I mean, I've been on the kick. I've been telling people like what JJ said the other day about how do we know? Because I brought up we were talking about the whistleblowers, and this is a huge point,
Mhm.
folks. Think about this for a minute, okay? Sorry, I talk with my hands. That's the Italian in me. But anyway, um, if these whistleblowers come forward, okay, and they come out and give us the truth, are you gonna believe it right out of the gate?
No.
Probably not. Okay, because once again, it could be them just trying to turn the channel on us once again. Truly and honestly, I mean, think about it. It's stuck in my head thanks to JJ now because since then I've been like, God damn it, I can't get that out of my head. So now I got this in my head too. But it's
Yeah.
good to think about these things, folks, because it reminds us how offhanded and how sideways this case is. It's not a cut and dry black and white case, and it's definitely nowhere near anything we've seen ever. Period.
Yeah,
So
and
Yeah.
like I had, dude, I'm with you 100%. Like I said, uh, fairly recently, if I had a chance to interview Turvey, I would say I would start out with the most basic questions. I would say,
absolutely.
you know, if you can answer these questions, how many bodies were there? Could you tell me anything about were there 4 like we've been told, or were there more? Because someone involved in the case is not going to be generally asked those questions
Right.
because it's people assume that, okay, it was these 4, this is how it happened, etc. I would ask him, were there any gunshot wounds? Right? The most basic elements. Now, they may not answer, but you can tell a lot by how someone responds. The way they
Yes.
respond to those basic questions, if they're avoiding the question, or if they don't want to tell you, or if they think you're crazy for asking simple questions like that. Not simple, basic. Because as I've been saying, like a broken record, we don't even know that what we've been told is even remotely accurate. We only know what we've been told about the victims, about Koberger, about all the peripheral people involved in the case. We don't. We
Right.
only know what we've been
You're right.
told, unless
You're right.
Right.
people have
Right.
personal information about them firsthand. We only know what we've been told.
Yeah, I mean, think about the
Yep.
very, very
Right.
beginning. That I mean, it's hard to think because now of all the lying and changing manipulation that we know of. But in the very, very beginning, they said, "Oh, they were all killed in their sleep."
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Which was not true. That they never woke up. I mean, who doesn't wake up if they're stabbed? I mean, I would
Right.
wake up to somebody jab me with a pin, let alone supposedly a K-bar.
Well, they had defensive wounds too, Robin. Like, so
I-
there's no way
Right.
that they slept through it. Period.
No.
Another thing,
No.
Ethan didn't have that high of a blood alcohol content, and he
No.
had a higher level of methamphetamine in his system.
right.
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 Xana had a higher, I believe, if I'm correct, a higher
She did.
blood alcohol content, and then
Yeah,
Maddie
she
had the
did.
Yeah, it
highest,
was very high.
but Ethan did not. Right. So
Right.
And then I draw back to the statement by Nunez when he first arrived. And then about a potential, taking his own life, right? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
the question that came through, I think it was Payne, that said, is there any evidence of a self-inflicted gunshot wound? Right? That was I believe on a
Yeah.
body cam. Like he called somebody at the scene, or it was either Payne or Fry, but I know I saw that. I believe I saw that footage. I
Right.
heard it. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
Jules or Birdie. It was somebody recently had that up. So that will always bring my mind to go, well, what did he see? And I understand people will say, well, he just got there, whatever. But there had to be something
Yeah.
that made him think to say that.
Whether he just got there or not, that's not the excuse. Because here's something I'm going to back that with, JJ. That's a good point you brought up there, too, because Officer Nunez was a volunteer firefighter EMT before he had become a police officer with Moscow PD. He was on the police force for, I think, for 2 years. Okay. Walking into, and he was he was there for quite a while with the fire department, EMS, and all that. Walking in, I don't care if he just got there or not, walking into a situation that he saw, I wasn't there to see it, but I'm going to tell you right now, to immediately make that statement the way he did see something. He
Right.
saw something that
Yeah.
it was not been described to us. He saw something that nobody else has seen or heard about
Mhm.
in any reports or anything else. The next thing that was stated came from Warner standing right next to him and said, what got you to that point? Meaning,
Right.
what made you say that? Okay. And his answer
And then he
was,
never answers.
well, his answer was all the blood. That's not an
Yeah.
answer. That is not an
No.
answer. For somebody with
That's
a
what I
medical
mean.
background, not at all.
No.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
again, I'm not suggesting. Obviously, beyond that, we don't know. But then, why would somebody follow up and say, "Is there any evidence of a self-inflicted gunshot wound?" Right? That doesn't just come out of nowhere. There has to be a thought in somebody's mind that makes them think of that to ask that
Mhm.
question.
Especially with it being your first statement, JJ, when you open your eyes and see that. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, I mean, we have the flash of light that you see on both the Linda Lane footage and the 1112 footage, and there is a cracking sound that goes along with that
Something,
flash.
yeah.
Now people will say, "Oh, is the Sensi light that fell over?"
Bullshit.
I don't think a Sensi light would make a bright flash just like
No.
that. And
No, a Sensi light wouldn't make that
And
bright of a flash. No.
when she was asked, she described it as fire. Like it looked like fire. It was orange. Well, the only
Yeah.
thing I know that will do that in that setting is a firecracker or muzzle flash. I'm just saying.
right,
Okay.
and again, I have given my reasoning behind this in the past, and it has nothing to do with gun rack guy. It
Right.
has to do with the fact that a
Gun
few potential areas that I think about. One, it's a very gun friendly state.
Of course.
Right.
I know this because I went there and I flew with my firearm, which I had never done before. I did it simply because we're going to be traveling all over the state. I don't know the state, so why not? If I can, why not?
Yeah.
And so then perhaps there's one potential thing. They didn't want any political heat coming down about a gun related crime,
Sure.
right? That was one thing I thought about. Another thing was
Mhm.
that perhaps that would open up a whole other line of inquiry from the public
Right.
about just general information about what took place. And so for me, I just think that we've been lied to from day one. And people locking down the scene of the crime for 4 hours is very suspicious to me. because they can formulate a theory and basically just lie to the public. Now,
Of course.
I present this question to you guys and to everybody in the chat, because I ask this question about every single theory that I think of and that I hear about. Why would they lie about it to the public? Because in my mind, there has to be a reason, right? You have to be able to
Yeah.
explain why they're not telling the public what really happened. If in fact some
Right.
other things took place that we were lied to about, there has to be a reason why they would lie. And I would like to know what people think. What are some theories as to why they would not tell the truth about critical things like, number one, the timeline, first and
Well,
foremost?
well, my answer to jump in
People.
there, one part of it, again, well, not making accusations because we need more info, and that's why we're trying to get the AVL data and all that. I do
Right.
believe that Rosenthal was at that house. Now, maybe it was just to meet, or a routine nightly check with the CI, or who the hell knows.
More
It
personal.
doesn't necessarily, I know everyone is, it could be personal. I know everyone's like, oh, Kaylee was seeing Rosenthal. We don't know that we don't. It
No,
could
we
be.
don't know
That's
that for
We
sure.
don't
possible.
know
I'm not
that,
saying
right?
that. Not saying it's
No.
not possible. It is.
Right.
Just because he got her ID and I said that we do that all the time at work. We take pictures of
Right.
people's IDs
That
and we go
does
back.
not mean they had a
That's a
relationship.
routine thing. I know some people like, oh my God, he took a picture of her ID and that means he was trying to, he wanted her. No, it's nonsense. I'm telling you, that's nonsense. I think Rosenthal was there. I don't know what for. And they're definitely, maybe he had nothing to do with, he had nothing to do with the actual crime of what occurred, but they're trying to hide that he was there without a doubt. There's a cover up that involves that. So that's like kind of the problem. I think there's like multiple like cover ups here.
Right. I
It's like
agree with
multiple.
that.
Yeah.
And
I think it's
another
multiple.
thing too, if think about this, if you have somebody that was there from law enforcement and there was a gunshot, right? Well, who carries guns? Law enforcement carries
You have to
guns.
explain that away then. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just another thing that has to
Yeah.
be looked into.
Agreed. And I think it also needs to be explained. Again, if we're to believe anything that's put out by, say, Molly or anybody else, when she claims that she sees who we believe to be Tesdale in his car circling by her, which most people do believe that at this point, okay? Many people do because of the information given to us. But that's the only person in the car at that time. They were
Right.
both together at the Banfield stop. They were both together doing the patrols. They were both together all night. Where the hell was Rosie at that point when nobody sees him in the car?
Yeah.
So at that
Right.
point, you
Yeah.
have to just kind of infer the fact that he was somewhere nearby. He didn't just take off and leave Tesdale by himself.
Yeah.
For the whole
I
rest of the
guarantee.
period of time. Come on.
Yeah, I guarantee
Yeah.
you, if you got their cell phone data, you would be able to definitively prove this. But we're never going to get that. So the only thing we could try to get is the AVL data, which is what I believe that they were trying to do to hide the fact of who. Because what
Probably
I
why
think,
we won't get it.
I think
yeah.
Tisdale dropped him off, and he continued to patrol around. And then there would be some kind of phone call or a text. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Come get me now, or I'm
Yeah.
ready, I'm done. So we're not going to get that. But as we've stated a million times here, what kind of backlash would they get if, like, this is an undercover unit, and 4 of these students were killed right under their nose. And either of the possibility that either one of them was a CI and trying to meet up with Rosenthal or connection there, or if he was seeing one of the girls, or if it was something more personal. Either way, in the public eye, it would just would look horrendous. It would absolutely, it would be,
Yeah.
you know, they don't want, they don't, you know, they
Definitely.
definitely don't want that, you know. And then on top of that, that then again goes to what JJ talks about, the big money, because it's all connected. Would you want to send your child to a school when you're like, oh, 4 homicides happened and the cops were right there? Like, what? What kind of safety? People always need to feel, they need to have a feeling of safety.
And not to mention,
If you
Right.
take away that feeling of safety, there's a huge problem.
yeah,
A huge
right, and
problem.
not to mention if that were to come out and it led back to something in relation to drugs or anything like that, that just puts icing on that cake. And again, another
Yeah.
reason to not send your kids there, for enrollment to drop, for money to stop flowing. All of those things are big problems there because
That's a great point, Diego, because
truly,
if there was drugs involved, do you really want the public to know a cop was at that house?
absolutely not. No.
Right. This is
And
a good comment here. Law enforcement would not cover for cartel members or hold delinquent kids unless those kids were of Greek society, or they were covering for their own law enforcement. So yeah, they're
Right.
not gonna, you know. So
Yeah,
I'm
I've
sorry,
said this
Dago. Go
before.
ahead.
Yeah, this is a small law enforcement community. It's a small force. So you're gonna tell me that, of course, you know, they're gonna cover for if Rosenthal. He could have had nothing to do with anything. Okay, but he was. I still believe he was there. Whatever the reason was, he was there, and they're trying. I wouldn't be surprised if it's his. You know, everyone's going nuts over these footprints in the back and all. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these footprints are from him. And like, oh well,
Right.
who was guarding the house the next day?
This
Well,
is
Rosenthal, he was assigned there.
this is why I want to see the 1-1-1-2 full footage for the entire
Yep.
week before this murder happened, okay? Because I want to see who comes and goes from that house on a regular basis. I want to see who was there, maybe on foot, in cars. Did we see
Yeah.
other officers there throughout the week at all? Did we see other people that are not normally there? I think we should see that footage throughout. I'll sit and
Yeah.
watch it. I don't give a shit. I'll watch it day in, day out for the entire week or maybe 2 weeks before to see what's going on in that house, around that house, before
Right.
this
Patterns
happened.
of behavior.
Exactly.
behavior,
Bingo.
you
Patterns
know,
of behavior
Yep.
is a big thing with this, folks,
and
if you think about it.
and we
And
have
that's
proof
why
of
it's
their
important.
lie. And we have proof again, just like with Dylan, we have proof of the lie because Payne, I believe it's Payne that made the document. I could be wrong. There's too many names in this damn case.
All right.
He's transcribing, I guess, what Tisdale is describing the patrol that they did. Well, we've watched the video a million times, and I know you're gonna say, "Oh, well, they fucked with the video and they did that." Yeah, okay, fine. They messed with the video, but I don't see an undercover car driving around from what Tisdale said. Oh, we were going around like in a circle. I don't see the patrol car going around. So
Nobody has.
you're making a statement that has to do with patrol wise on a night of the homicide, and it doesn't match what we're watching in the video. So,
Right. But the thing that we
Right.
do see with that vehicle is them parked in the white apartment's parking lot in a
yes.
perfect position to sit and stare at that house and watch that pathway that walks up to almost directly into the front door of the 1122 house. So again, if you think that's coincidence, I'll sell you a bridge in London. Okay, I'm just telling you
Yeah.
because it can't be. There's no coincidence. Every time that car leaves to do one of its patrols, wherever the hell it goes, guess where it ends right back at? That same damn spot over there where it can see the 1122 house. So you tell me that they weren't watching that house that night. I'm gonna tell you, I think you need to go look again.
Robin, did you want to get into the document?
Now that-
Let's
now
get
that
into
we're
the
cut that-
document.
Listen. When we get into a good
I know.
conversation, you know what I mean. That's okay.
I know it's good.
I
Yeah.
don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
pull it up. Pull
so
it up.
yes. Yep. Let me get to the right tab here, and I'll add that to the stage. So this one is the stipulated protective order and
Oh, yeah.
proposed order. So this one is the one that ends in 209. I'm not sure which one you have ready there. But so if you guys are in our Discord, I know there's probably various places you can find this, but we most likely have them posted in the Discord. So if you guys are the kind that you like to download and do your own reading of the documents, they're typically usually always there. So e- e- essentially, this document is talking about how they're going to handle the discovery. Um, so, um, meaning that they're not disclosing evidence at this point. They're going to talk about how they're going to do that. So this document just floors me. So the
Which one
plaintiffs,
is this?
uh,
209.
this is, yeah, 209. It's the stipulated protective order and
Uh-huh.
proposed order. So again, this one deals with the discovery, how that's going to, be handled. This is for the WSU lawsuit, of course, between, Steve Gonzalez and, he's of course representing the estate of Kaylee and WSU. So, um, so this is going to, um, the plaintiffs are seeking access to, a lot of sensitive materials, which would include, of course, crime scene photos and videos, autopsy reports, medical records, investigative reports, as well as witness identifying information. So, as you can imagine, there are some things that you don't want the general public knowing. Um, and the parties already know that the the massive public interest. I mean, it's already crazy, so it's only going to get even crazier. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
yep,
it's
and
insane.
yeah, and the families are aggressively protecting graphic materials, which again, to your point, one, we're not
Yeah,
after the
right.
autopsy photos, but there are other things that I feel, I think Dago was saying it earlier, like maybe some diagrams and the reports so that
Yeah,
we can read them for ourselves, you know?
they've done it in every other case I've ever seen. They put out
Right.
the black and white stick figure diagram. It shows where the wounds are. It describes everything, but we can't have it in this case. Why is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell
I
me
mean, you
why.
see it
Because
all the time.
absolutely every case I've ever seen. Okay, I've
Yeah,
never Ellen Greenberg. That's a horrible situation as well. Okay, she supposedly took her own life by stabbing herself in the back of the head 25 times. Whatever, but okay. We got those
yeah,
autopsy documentation, that stick figure document in that case, and in many other cases, we can't get anything. And I've heard many a times it's because it's in Washington and they won't release. I don't care. Okay,
Yeah, that's not a
it
good
it it
reason.
it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me. That's
yeah,
insane to
Right.
me. That's ridiculous.
yeah.
But I wanna see because I have a feeling that if we were to see that document, if it exists, let me say that first. If that exists and we were to see it, I'm gonna tell you why we're not seeing it, because it doesn't match
Mhm.
what they've told us, period.
Nope. Nope,
Right.
not at all.
Yeah,
So,
of
I
course.
doubt it. Yeah,
That
so
is the
so
exact reason why, I bet.
yeah. So the way that these documents are set up is that, um, at this point, WSU might not even be able to directly possess some of the, materials because this order, it sets up a process where the Gonzalez and whoever else, the other plaintiffs, they get them first. Okay, they get them first,
Right.
and WSU requests access through the plaintiffs. So they essentially have to request these from the families. And now supposedly, it says here, it does not confer blanket protection on all disclosures or responses to discovery. The protection it affords from public disclosure and use extends only to the limited information or items that are entitled to confidential treatment under the applicable legal principles, and it does not presumptively entitle parties to file confidential information under seal. So it's not supposed to allow the plaintiffs to keep every single thing from the, from WSU, from the defendants.
Yeah. And that's and that's basically the main gist of this document is that they very, when Robin scrolls down after, they very specifically mention, certain aspects like the autopsy reports and all these different things that
Right.
the WSU has every right of discovery to look to see to evaluate all this stuff. So their main thing is, okay, you want all this info, so they're making this whole big thing about special protections, and they make reference to the the new law that's coming out, which is fine. You have this new law, but that what the hell does that have to do with the autopsy report?
Right.
It's supposed to cover I don't want to see. I don't need to see the bodies, but
No.
it's enough
The
enough of the
right.
redactions, enough of this
No.
nonsense already.
Just show me the sketch and give me the absolute truth and what was written in that, and I'll leave it alone. Real quick.
Right.
Also, I want to show you guys something with what JJ was talking about, just so you guys know this for future reference. That way you can keep it out of your vocabulary. Real quick here, let me show you something, Robin.
Okay.
Hold on. JJ brought up that whole thing, that part of the narrative they were trying to keep running for us, okay? With one of the things they said. All right, there it is backstage. Let me show you something real fast here. See this right here?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's your thing they tried to claim got broken. It's plugged in, sitting there, okay, on the table after the crime. So that never happened. So there you go.
No.
You can eliminate that from the whole story at this
Interesting.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. SRB found that a while back.
Yeah.
So just so you guys
Thank
know,
you, SRB.
Yeah.
you don't have to worry
Good
about
job.
looking for that anymore because it's bullshit. One more piece of bullshit that they've given us. So you can just eliminate that completely, as there's something else they've tried to push off the garbage to us to make us believe something different. So thank you, SRB, and there
Yeah.
you go, guys. There it is, right there.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Thank you.
And they're
Plugged in and working after the crime. So anyway,
they're
Guys, I'll be right
requiring-
back.
Okay.
They're requiring the plaintiffs to make a special document repository that will have all these all these different discovery materials that go to them. I just find it funny, like where was all this special document repository when it came to Brian Koberger, whether he's guilty or not, his rights were violated.
of course.
Right. Yeah.
With the Dateline special that came out and all the other nonsense. Where was the special repository in regards to him?
Yeah, right.
But now,
Right.
but now it's okay, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And so what a protective order is in this particular instance is it's something that's common with litigation, and just basically sets up the rules for how, creates a framework for the discovery, how it can move forward while protecting privacy, limiting leaks, hopefully, uh, and preserving court control over disclosure. So,
Good stuff.
yeah, I
Yep.
mean they're crazy. I mean, they're going like nuts with this. They want them to create what is this thing called here?
Yeah,
A
it has to be
privilege log.
organized.
They want them to have
Yeah,
a privilege log, and they have very specific information that describes, the different pieces of information and like why they need it.
right. Yeah. Um, Now I guess what counts as confidential, this is a really important section. It would be, again, their medical records, identifying information, graphic crime scene photos, and the autopsy coroner records, which is extremely targeted. Um, so, like I said, they're trying to not keep allow them to keep everything from WSU, which they shouldn't be. Um, and it specifically refers to copies, summaries, notes, excerpts, and testimony discussing confidential material. So even discussing the contents during a deposition could become protected. So,
Yeah, and they're making
and
them. They had to sign an acknowledgement and agreement to be bound, which is
right,
Exhibit A. If they want to view or have anything to do with any of this discovery that they're trying to lock down, they have to, if they seek access, uh, they want a written disclosure.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, they're being very um cautious and maybe in some cases a little. I don't know that you could really be too heavy-handed, but you do have
It's
to be
insane.
careful
Yeah,
that they're not gonna want to just say, nope, you can't have
yeah.
that. Nope, can't have that. And
They're
kiss my
so afraid
ass,
of
you can't
this.
have that
Yeah,
either. Yeah,
they're
so
so
what are
afraid
they
of this
so
getting
afraid of?
leaked out. They're so afraid of getting leaked
Right.
out. I mean, it's within 10 days of the written disclosure,
Yep.
plaintiffs shall either object to the disclosure or provide the individual with view-only access to a restrictive user group project on Everlaw that contains the requested graphic material.
Yeah. Um, it it just makes you wonder, what is it that
Yeah,
the families are so
afraid.
scared to get allowed to get out there?
Thank you, because I don't believe. I'm glad you brought that up
This is
because I was going to
crazy.
say that earlier. I don't think it has anything to do with protecting the integrity of the victim. Okay, I do not believe
No,
that. I'm sorry, and again, I
no.
feel for their loss and I have compassion for them, but I don't believe that's the motive behind this whole thing. It has nothing to do with protecting the integrity of the victim, in my opinion. It's something completely different,
No, I agree
and
with
I,
you.
I, I feel like at some point they're worried that some part of this is gonna be shown, and it's gonna cause people to realize maybe that Brian wasn't the one that did this somehow, maybe, and it's gonna pull away from the narrative being run for what it is, and change people's minds. That's kind of what my thought
Right.
process is with this. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah,
it may not be
because
true,
right.
but
Because WSU would want that stuff to be
agreed.
able to point to it and say, well, look, if you have this, this, and this, then he can't be, the guy or, the only one or whatever.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that's
that would
what
affect the
this
lawsuit.
exactly. Because if you have any inkling at all come out that someone else was involved, it that's not going to go well for the families. That's
No,
for
it
sure.
it rolls over the single perpetrator, Brian Koberger, every bit of it. It screws the whole thing up.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so, and before filing confidential material publicly, the parties have to confer first.
Yeah.
Right.
They have to consider what they're going to redact. So here we go again with the damn redactions. and they have to decide, or to move or to seal records. So, and the party requesting secrecy has the burden to justify it. Now, that's the only good thing, is that they have to say, this is why we want this to be redacted, or we don't want them to have this information, and they have to. So hopefully, the court in this case isn't going to allow them to just on a whim say, no, you can't have this. They're going to have to state their case
Right.
and make a good case for it. So
Right. And I hate to say it, but
It's
unfortunately,
crazy.
Tiki Bar's comment there saying money's more important than getting justice for their kids. Kids, please make it make sense. I hate to say this,
yeah,
but at this point, that's exactly what this looks like. Okay.
right.
It seems to me that $4 million seems to be more important than the absolute truth as to what happened to your loved one. And that's sad. If that's true, I don't really want to believe that. Okay. As a parent, as a human being, I don't want to believe that, but I'll be damned if it sure don't look that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if they had to lie about certain things early on and shift the timeline and with the whole 911 call and all these things because they needed to shift
Mm-hmm.
what the actual story was for whatever the reasons were, then they have to continue with that, right?
Right.
And so if somebody in the chat, I apologize, I don't recall who just said it a little bit ago, but if there were things in certain like autopsy photos and things that would contradict what the official narrative was early on, then they have to make sure that never gets out, because then the
Absolutely.
public straight up knows that the most basic elements of the case were a lie. And so they have to keep it going. And some people might say, oh, well, you're telling me that everybody got on board with lying to the public? That is something that happens if people are told what to do.
Yep.
If people are told like we can't say this or that for these reasons, this is what we're going with. Most people, especially in a small town like that, are gonna go with whatever they're told to go with.
yeah,
I agree. And sadly, I'll be honest with you, when this first dropped, the lawsuit and everything, I thought that it was happening because they were maybe trying to get actual discovery that had
yeah,
truth in it, like real discovery to get it all. Because we all know in a civil case, you have a tendency to get a lot more discovery than you would in a criminal case. So, okay, that's fine. So I'm like, okay, go for it. Do what you're doing. And then this happened. Okay.
yeah,
And then all these other things started to point in a different direction. I was like, I'll be damned if this does not look like a money grab. It really does. And I'm sorry. I mean that with all due respect. Maybe that's what's needed here for healing or whatever else, but damn, I don't give a fuck how much money you have that you're going to hand over to me. I want to know the truth as a parent. Period.
right. Exactly. And to your point, this section 4.4, which is the special protection against graphic material we've been talking about, where one thing, it references the injunction from Judge Megan Marshall that prevents the public release of graphic materials.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're effectively, the families are like importing the logic of the Idaho injunction, right into this civil case.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
ma'am.
So,
And I don't mean that with any disrespect intended. Okay.
no,
But you know what, you guys, I can't see it any other way at this point. It just doesn't look any way else to me. What is going on here? So that, like I said, I thought maybe it was because they wanted more discovery to get the truth. Okay, I'm with you on that. Let's do it. And then this stuff started happening, and I went, wait a minute. That looks like it's going in a completely different direction, and it's never stopped. It keeps going.
Yeah.
And it does look
Yeah.
very greedy. I agree with that.
Yeah.
yeah. And,
This seems like
you know,
another way to lock everything down.
yeah. And WSU, they agree not to subpoena these materials independently if the plaintiffs already have them. Which I just am I the only one that finds this just preposterous that they can't?
No,
I just it's
Yeah.
not even
unusual.
close.
I just no, and it's such a gatekeeping structure. The plaintiffs control how WSU is acquiring and storing all this information.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it just, if you read it says if they can't come to an agreement, then a judge will make the final decision. It's in there. It's like
Yeah. Where did
That's insane. Sorry.
yeah.
Well, it's like the roundabout way to violate the First Amendment, because
mhm.
what often happens, the government uses proxies to violate people's rights because they can't overtly do it because it would violate the First Amendment, freedom of the press. So
Mhm.
if you lay a foundation of a precedent of denying the public the ability to
Mm-hmm.
see certain things, then that, even though this is a private, a lawsuit, like a civil lawsuit, they're laying groundwork. It still gets it in people's mind that they can't see these things. They're not allowed to see these things. It would make some people, a percentage of people, less likely to file public records requests, even though this is a separate thing. Remember, it's often about how you can manipulate the public. So if
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people may see this and not think, oh, this is a civil suit, doesn't apply in like a criminal case or whatever. A lot of people might now accept this as being okay and back off on expecting to see certain things.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
And I'm sorry, they're just too closely linked that one. I mean, if Brian would file, uh, ineffective assistance of counsel, what could this lawsuit? How would it affect his appeal? I mean,
yeah.
that I'm kind of fascinated. I don't know that answer,
I think
but
I had asked
you know,
Ron Funk if he
okay,
when with the custody queens, if we talked about, if I remember correctly, that I don't. He said, because I even asked him the same question in some sense, and his answer was he doesn't think it could affect it at all. With
okay,
Brian's appeal, but any kind of extenuating circumstances get brought to the table with this that could change things at any moment. We don't know. So
right, yeah, and I
there's the
mean,
problem.
Yeah.
this is
And
yeah,
you know what else? And you know what else is interesting is that they filed this, so that you have this going on, right? This now protective order of all this discovery stuff,
Right.
while we also have the Iwu, the lawsuit going on as
yes,
well, and there could be a
right,
conflict there. There could be a conflict.
right, absolutely, absolutely.
I agree.
You know, and all the hoops are making these. If the defendant becomes aware of the existence of material not already in the possession of the plaintiffs, again, the defendants will provide a written request to the plaintiffs to obtain relevant graphic material. Upon receipt of a request from the defendant, plaintiffs will respond to defendant's request in writing within 7 days, either agreeing to obtain the material or denying the request. If the plaintiff denies a request to obtain the graphic material, the defendant may issue such subpoena as necessary to obtain the relevant graphic information. For all graphic material in the plaintiff's possession, plaintiff will produce a privilege log that shall contain at a minimum the following information. Well, we don't need to read through the whole list if you guys want to screenshot it. I mean, or like I said, it'll be in our Discord. We'll make sure so that if you want to read it for yourself. But I mean, look at this. You've got just so many different things, and the way that they're making them jump through hoops is just crazy. But and if they want someone to review the graphic evidence, they have to identify the individual, provide their employment information and address, and have them sign Exhibit A. So I mean, yeah, like you said earlier,
Yeah.
where was this during the Koberger trial? Or
Yeah.
not trial, but
Where
during
was all
that,
the right?
you know,
Yeah. Didn't exist.
no, it's crazy. I'm just reading down through a second. You know, sorry, there's a lot going on in our neighborhood. So if you guys hear the dogs, it's driving them crazy. So sorry about that.
That's okay.
And where was it? I was trying to find it. Something about it has to be stored in a certain way, like everything like has to be like super organized, which would have been nice for Ann
Yeah.
Taylor. You know, if things had
Yeah, you're
been
not kidding.
organized and classified
Right.
and properly labeled instead of just here you go. Oh, this is interesting. So if another lawsuit or third party tries to subpoena protected material, the producing party has to be notified immediately. So that means like media, public records requesters, or other third party litigants could attempt access. Oh, I wonder if that would if E would tie in
Yeah,
somehow
I
to
think
that.
it would.
Yeah.
Because
And
they're talking. Because if
and
you read the language that they're talking about in here, they list a
yeah,
lot more than just graphical photos.
yeah. Um, wow. Okay. And so if privileged documents are accidentally handed over, privilege is not waived. This protects against like massive e-discovery mistakes. So they're very, very, very cautious about all of this. So and it even covers about Washington Public Records Act. Like normally government's records can be potentially requested publicly, but
Yeah.
here it says confidential litigation materials are not automatically public records. And if a PRA request comes in, you know, the Attorney General's office must notify the designating party. So they're even being very cautious about things potentially being released to Washington State. So
What a mess.
Yep.
What a
Yeah.
damn mess. This whole thing
They're
is the biggest damn mess I ever seen in my life.
yeah.
Oh,
They're
and
really trying to
it's
keep something hidden.
right. That's the bottom line here. To me, what
Yeah.
are they trying
What?
to keep
And
secret?
it's who. Okay, that's the problem. I think the biggest
Right.
problem is
Right,
who's trying to
right.
have this.
Who?
Okay, if it was law
Right,
enforcement and the prosecutor's office and things like that doing this, I think we've already been there, done that. I think we can get that. This is the families
right,
now. Why are they trying to keep
right,
things hidden? That's the biggest question right
right.
there. I
And the
mean,
thing
you
is,
know,
why? Okay, like I am not a legal expert. I am not, but I did not realize that families could keep all documents. I mean, potentially, if a judge agrees or whatever, could keep documents from the defendants. Like I didn't realize that was,
Oh yeah, yeah.
so
And you know what? You know what's that? Sorry, Rob.
that's just that I just no, that's okay. Go right ahead. It's just
Well, the
yeah.
thing too is like it's not only is this violating, are you violating? This is violating our rights. Okay,
Yes, it is.
our rights. We're not even involved in this case, but this is violating everybody's rights as people in this country. Period.
Yes.
Absolute. Absolute. So when's that going to come into question or be brought to the table for somebody to say, "Hey, wait a minute, you know, we're still here. This is a problem." Okay, and nobody seems
Right.
to be thinking about that at this point.
No.
Well,
No.
you start to normalize denying people their First Amendment rights. It's been happening in this country a lot,
Yep, a
Yeah.
whole lot.
and
Definitely.
in Colorado, you have no idea. People, I could tell you 1,000 times, people wouldn't realize how bad it is, how corrupt Colorado has become. It is unreal. I can't believe this is the state that I used to love, and I've seen it so many different ways. The overt corruption in Colorado, it's unbelievable. I mean,
Agreed.
on so many levels, and it's basically, I mean, the DOJ is basically suing Colorado because they were violating the Second Amendment with some of their laws that they passed about high capacity magazines and certain types of firearms and all this stuff. And in Colorado, it's like I always discuss, and this relates to this. If you can get a critical mass of people to support something, right? Then they use that to manufacture consent to do things, right?
Sure,
So,
sure.
we have this all these people in Colorado that support this, right? So
Hmm.
they use that as a means by which to violate. And just so people know, any law that violates the Constitution, this was proven in the Supreme Court a long time ago in a case. It was like Marbury or Mar something versus Madison. Any law that violates the Constitution in any way is null and void.
Yep,
They can pass
Yes.
it. A state can pass a law. They can pass the law,
it voids immediately.
but
Hmm.
it would lose when challenged with the
Yep,
Supreme Court. But
Right.
they know that a lot of people, if they have a critical mass of people to support that, then then people will give up and not try to fight it. But the reality is there's a lot of things in Colorado that are going on that are really corrupt.
absolutely. Well, it's not. I mean, you're there, so you
It
can say that about color. It's not just there though; it's everywhere. And it. I can't
right.
remember who it was in the chat that said it. I think it was where'd she go? Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Bitter, bitter something. Bitter, know your worth. Okay, she's absolutely correct, guys. Think about this for a minute. In the long term, it's setting precedents. What's coming next? Okay, this and then what comes after that. This is just the first step. There's more things coming on, in my opinion, with this. Okay, many more things.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
This is one,
100%.
just one, the first of many. And at some point, we will have. They've turned that piece of paper hanging on the wall in Washington into a
Into
nothing
it.
more than garbage to me, as far as I'm concerned, because it doesn't exist anymore, folks. They're violating everything within that, and that is what is the glue that brings this country together.
Look,
Yeah.
I say this
Um.
often
Sorry,
when people like want to get into a political discussion.
I don't mean to do that, but yeah,
No,
you're
no,
right. I
and for
get it.
me, it's not political. It's more fundamental.
Yeah, right.
If we didn't have the Constitution, none of us
Nope.
would have the life that we have had up to this point. Now, granted, they've been chipping away at it for quite a while, but
Absolutely.
what is one of the fundamental aspects? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If people have to worry about they're going to be in trouble for social media posts and saying things, and their speech is prohibited, and their ability to own a firearm is prohibited, you're denying them the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If the government can use companies as proxies to violate people's rights, that's a violation of the Constitution, and that aspect of it needs to be changed.
Yes.
No company, no employer should be allowed to violate people's constitutional rights, but they say, oh, it's a private company, or it's this or it's that. That is
shouldn't matter.
flawed. That's flawed. And this has been going on now for a while. The government uses companies and organizations to violate people's rights. But my point is, the Constitution does need to get updated to coincide with more modern times. I agree 100%. I think elections need to be updated as well. However,
definitely,
a country that, just for people that don't understand where I'm coming from, it's not about, oh, guns, da 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 da. It's not about that. Every country, and this ties into the overall rights to what Dago was saying. I'm just using this as an example. Every country, do your research. You can find out for yourself if you don't know this. That's been disarmed, has been subjugated. Every single one. Look at what happened in Canada. Look at what happened in Australia. Now, some people may not care because they may not feel like it's affecting them. But that is a simple fact. Every country that has been disarmed the citizens have been subjugated and have had to deal with more, at the very least, totalitarian policies. So this is all related. The First Amendment, it protects people's rights to speak out against the government. Now that with the AI data centers, people are speaking out and they're being told that they're domestic terrorists.
Yep.
This kind of shit has to stop. And if people don't realize that cases like this, like to Dago's point, set a precedent, and it's a bad precedent to set. We should be able to look. It's not the nanny state. Okay, is not doing anybody any good. If you don't want to see certain things or hear certain things, don't listen to them. Don't look at them.
Right.
But people should have the right.
Yeah. Exactly.
To say what they want.
Right.
Yes.
Same thing with music and movies and whatever. You should have the right to watch what you want. You don't like horror, you think it's too bloody and what, then don't watch it.
Then.
Exactly.
Lucy said the same. Lucy said exactly over here. Her comment said people still have not realized that this entire case was 100% for the exact purpose that JJ was talking about. It's rather clear, and that's exactly what's happening the whole time. And then below it, she dropped and she said public-private partnerships. I mean, you guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. You've never seen this like this before for a reason. Okay, and here it is. This is it. The stepping stone.
I agree with that, and I think that I've been saying it a lot. I know people are probably sick of hearing me saying it. It hasn't happened fully yet, but it's going to happen.
It's coming.
The flock camera systems. If we had those in place, we would have had. If Koberger ends up getting post-conviction relief, and my theory is correct, they're going to say, oh, you know what? If we had the flock camera system in place, this would have never happened.
Right.
This crime would have never happened. They'll say that. And if people don't think, I don't even want to go down the hardcore conspiracy route, I won't. But this is a big problem. The private-public partnerships are a major problem in the world. Stakeholder capitalism. It's basically corporations powerful corporations, a very small number of them, own everything. They want to tokenize everything. They want to tokenize our water. They want to tokenize our power. They want to tokenize AI. They want to tokenize everything.
Yeah.
And there's a very strong and powerful movement that has been pushing this for a long time. And if more people knew about what their actual agenda is, they'd be terrified. But they think it's a conspiracy theory because they just don't know about it because the media doesn't talk about it.
And again, like I've been saying, JJ, absolutely. They're afraid to talk about it. They're afraid of what it is because they don't understand it. Okay. Again, Lucy dropping bombs, like she said, you were just saying the public-private partnerships, the back doors, the warrantless searches. How many of those do you see happening on a regular basis in these cases, guys? Oh, no offense to you, 1-1, but you see it too. I'm sure you do. Okay. It happens, guys. These are they just little things by little things by little things equals a big thing until it's too late. Okay. And it's happening every single day. Every single day.
Well, they push a little further every little bit. Like,
Yeah.
They push it. They push the needle
until it becomes normalized.
Right.
Bingo.
Until it becomes normalized.
It's Psych 101, guys. It's
there
behaviorism 101. It's basically get people to accept less and do it incrementally. That way they push a little bit and then they accept. They push push back a little, then people accept it as the quote unquote new normal. And we've seen where that leads you. And governments, in my opinion, and I talk about this on my channel, and I have already talked about it, and I'm going to continue to talk about it. They do not serve the public, and they should never be trusted that they have your best interests in mind. It doesn't matter who's in office. They work for oligarchs and financial elites, and it's global. And when you have these big globalist organizations that tell you what they are going to do, believe them. They're telling you what their agenda is. You should believe them, because what happens is people hear these things. The media says, oh, there's crazy conspiracy theories. Well, the media is owned by the same interests.
Exact. Bingo.
Right.
So it's not separate from true crime, guys. It's not. It's not. It's all connected.
Exactly. And they scare you into believing it. They scare you into not talking about it. They scare you into not understanding it. I mean, it is what it is. That's why I keep saying there's a fear behind it. Okay. There's a fear of not knowing, one. Okay. And a fear of not conforming to it. And I'm not trying to go political, but it's fact. If you look around you, everywhere you go, Robin hit the nail on the head with it. We don't, and there's people that will turn around and say, what do you mean? That's the way that's always been. But no, it's not. You just think it is because you don't realize what just fucking happened to you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I get worked up on this shit because it's fucking true, guys. It's sad. Yeah. And here we sit. Right. Here we sit today, 4 lowly people, that are, I'm not saying we're nobodies, but we are nobodies in the big thick of it all. Okay.
In their eyes, sure.
Yes. In their eyes, 100%. We don't represent anything but ourselves. Okay. And us talking about this means nothing because nobody's going to listen to us. You guys might listen to us and you guys might take it to heart, but 62 million other people don't give a fuck. There's the problem. Sorry for my language, but that's
dude,
that's okay.
I'm with you. And I think that I've talked offline with one about this on Discord and stuff. There are things happening right now in the world, and I promise you, it's all related, guys. This is all related. This is not separate from what we talk about on this channel.
Sure.
There are things happening right now that I can prove because I've seen the documents, the funding documents, etc., that are crimes against humanity, and they're happening on a global scale, and they want to keep the public distracted, fighting each other about horseshit nonsense. The right versus the left, and this, and that, and the other. That's all horseshit.
Yep.
And this is what my channel focuses on, not to to outrage people so I can get clicks. It's to get people to wake up and realize, look, I was the same way. I used to be like, oh, this side and that side, and we're all human. We're all susceptible to it. But the reality is, right now, and I'm going to do a whole series of episodes, not just one episode on this, on geoengineering. And I can
Right.
tell you right now that it's the worst thing that's ever happened in modern history, and it's a crime against humanity. And they keep people distracted to the point that people, because it's not being talked about on the mainstream media, that it must be a conspiracy theory.
Of course.
When any person, like I did years ago, went to a .gov website and saw the actual programs that they were carrying out. So anybody can confirm that this is happening. You can look at who's funding it. And because it sounds so crazy, people dismiss it. Well, guess what? They're doing crazy shit, and they have been for a while, and they've gotten the public so divided that is what enables them to do it. So what we're seeing with this case is just a small microcosm of what is happening. They're going to use this case. I've said this about the Nancy Guthrie case. I said it about the Charlie Kirk assassination.
insane.
And I've said it about the Luigi Mangione case. When bigger things are involved, there's usually a reason, and you can't dismiss the bigger
Agreed.
thing from the small thing.
Yep.
Always
So,
a distraction.
well,
Always a distraction. Every time.
I
There's
agree.
no, without a doubt, period. And again, yes, JJ, that's a good point, because I've been screaming about this with this whole, okay, let me give you a perfect example of what he just said. I've even said it on here. But on my channel, I've been screaming this because it drives me insane. They've done that through this whole case from beginning to now. The divide is real, folks. Absolute divide. And every time they find a chance with something new that's released here, okay, there's another divide. They find another way to try to divide us all. They did it with Dr. Turvey and Nan Taylor once again. And I'm screaming on my channel, guys. There's no teams here, guys. We don't do teams in this channel. I'm not doing teams. Turvey, Team Taylor, time to stop with this shit. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's another reason to divide us, to split us up and set us in different
Right.
corners.
And
to
we
keep
don't
us
need that.
distracted. We don't need there's too much of it. Too much of it. And here's another one.
Stay
Again.
focused.
Stay
it.
focused.
We're all here for the same
Yeah.
fucking reason.
Right.
What I said last night. United we stand, divided we fall.
It's true.
Right. It's true.
Look,
1,000,000%.
people that don't, I'm not a history expert, but I've made it my business to learn enough about history so I can understand some general concepts. The problem is that unless you're like a history major and you've looked into alternative, like I'll give a perfect example. Everybody's heard of this book, A People's History of the United States.
Yeah.
By Howard
Right.
Zinn.
Yes.
Right? If just that alone, I believe he was a professor at BU. Just that book alone, and that's fairly mainstream accepted. It's one of a major bestseller in history books. Shows you that what we've been told about history in America since we were kids is largely inaccurate in really important ways. So there are other books that people can learn about and dig into that explain certain basic concepts about history. And
Right.
humans have not changed. Humans are basically the same. Evolutionary psychology explains it all. So there's a reason why you can never let power get too much control or gain too much
Right. Because
power.
this is what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
The power structure will always abuse power. There's never been a time in history, ever, never, not one time in history where the power structure didn't abuse its power.
Absolutely.
And we were doing pretty well here. We had plenty of issues in America, plenty of corruption going way back, but we were basically able to live our lives. But what happened is certain pieces of legislation were passed that emboldened the power structure, and it enabled them to incrementally get too much power, and they never give it back. Once you give them power, they never say, oh, okay, we overstepped here. You can have
Right.
these.
Never.
Right.
They never will. They never will.
And this is very important when talking about even true crime cases, because the media is allowed to lie to you. They're under no obligation to tell you the truth. This is the misconception that people have, or some people have. They believe, they watch the news, they think they're informed. They think, oh, I listen to NPR, I'm informed. Or I listen to this, Fox or CNN or MSNBC, I'm informed. It's all a scam, and people need to wake up and realize that.
Right, and the separation, like I said, with that and everything else, it's real. Do you guys realize our very first president? There's a quote that George Washington made way back when. Okay, and I'm not going political. I'm just proving a point to you guys, and it's not just with the government or right and left, blue and red, white, black. It's not just that, but it's the point that was made then. Whenever I can't remember what year that was, but that'll tell you how long ago it was. He said himself, and you can go look it up through Google. When you split the government into two pieces, it's going to destroy the country. End of story. And guess what happened? And it goes along with everything. When you split the people into two separate sections, what's going on with this case when they split everybody?
Right.
It wasn't about truth and justice. It was Brian Koberger or not. Pro-burgers or whatever the fuck you want to call everything, okay? It's never been about that with this case, because they have to keep it under their control. And that's how they do it. Period.
Yeah.
So once again, every time something new comes out, like I said, let's do it again, guys. Let's break them up again, even more into their little sections and their little sectors. So there again, here we are. And as soon as this Dr. Turby shit came out, boink, there we go again. I said, stop, everybody. Do not let them conquer and divide once again, please. I was begging people, please stop.
We have to take the information, okay? We have to take the information and compile it and look at it objectively, because the moment we let our emotions run away with us to the point that we're looking at each other and pointing fingers and we're acting like we're enemies instead of people who are in the fucking United States of America and who should be able to come together and help one another, that's when they win. And we can't continue to do that.
We give them control when we do that. That's correct.
Right.
And you know what? They've been very effective at dividing the country up using certain hot button topics. They introduced a new topic in spring of 2020. Well, they actually introduced you all know what I'm talking about, a little bit later than that, but it all stemmed from spring of 2020. I can only speak from my own experience. The young people today, they don't know what it was like back when, before there was social media and people talked to each other. They hung out at bars. They didn't, they might disagree on things, but everybody was just living their lives.
Man. Yeah.
And they weren't getting steered into really negative little sections of society. When I say negative, I mean, in order to divide people, they weren't bifurcated and they weren't put, these people are bad because they believe this and that, and these people are good, or vice versa. That existed. I grew up in a time where I was, most of us were around before cell phones and social media. And, we lived our lives. We interacted with people that we might not agree with on a lot of things, but people were able to live their lives, weren't constantly in fear that bad things were going to happen. I don't want to even talk about it.
Because people knew how to talk to each other, JJ. That's why people don't know how to do that anymore, unless you're texting each other. Okay, I mean, that's where the disconnect is.
I was going to say, everyone is, everything is social media now. People don't know how to communicate. That the skill of communicating is like almost like a forgotten, you know,
That's where the
super trait
disconnect came
now.
in.
People
Yes.
don't know how to communicate. And what is you know, everyone, all the panel members that we have here, they all know, and we all do it. Our fearless leader, right, who's in CrimeCon right now. What is one of the essential pieces of communication? What does Lee always say? Listen. People don't know how to listen.
Critical
They're
listening.
always about like talking, talking, talking. Sometimes it's not about talking. You have to sometimes listen. Just listen to what people have to say, and you sometimes you'll get far by learning to listen, but it seems like that
Yeah.
is going by the wayside.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
a saying, it says, seek to understand, then to be understood. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that ties in with listening, and I think that unfortunately we have a serious deficit of people trying to understand why other people feel the way that they do.
And
Yeah.
yes, and the big part of that, you guys, not only listen, as Lee would say, or anybody else, listen, but actually hear. Okay, don't just listen and let it go in and out. Hear it. Okay, that's the biggest issue I
Mm-hmm.
have. People don't listen when we talk, of course, but they definitely don't hear it most of the time. Okay, that's the biggest problem. They hear what they hear, but they don't really hear it. I know that sounds ridiculous. Just think about what I said for a minute, and you'll get it. Because that's the biggest thing. Communication is gone.
It is. It is.
It's gone. There's no communication in the world anymore between people. Emotion is not like
Well,
how many. You know how many fights I've seen
we need to
started.
bring it back.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the point I'm
Well,
making. But how many disagreements and arguments, and even in here, okay, in these chats that I've seen, because you know why, truly and honestly, and I know this is a little sideways from what we're talking about, but it's a fact. That's why I talk to my chat repeatedly because of this. But here's the thing: there's no emotion in texting. Realize this:
Right.
there's no emotion when
Right.
you text somebody. So in turn, you send a text message to somebody, you get a message back. What the fuck does that mean? Well, it means exactly what I said, but there's no emotion behind
yeah.
it. Therefore, you don't
You can't hear
understand
the emotion.
exactly. You can't hear the
Right.
voice inflection. You can't see if they're in a good mood, bad mood,
Right.
any of that. Okay. So then, in turn, some people walk away from a conversation that they've had in a text conversation going, what the fuck did they mean? Are they mad at me now? I don't understand. And then you avoid them, and then in turn, the communication breakdown starts all over again.
Yeah.
It's
Dago,
a
yeah.
problem.
Yeah, you know how many people I work, and I obviously I work with police officers, right? You know how many people that I work with, they're actually like afraid to talk to like a group of people.
Absolutely,
I'm talking about police officers too.
absolutely. I've seen.
They can't talk, like they can talk to one or two people. They stop on the street, but as soon as there's like a group of people, and it's the generation it's like ironic that of how quickly you can get information at the tip of your fingers, but the communication is so much lacking. It really
I don't mean to yell. I get wrapped up in. Sorry, but I agree with you on one. I didn't mean to yell. I just get worked up sometimes. My apologies if I did.
no,
Um,
it's fine. It's fine.
but do
Well,
you know how?
it's
I mean,
important.
it's a passionate thing for
Yeah.
me because I preach this to my own
Sure.
family. I've watched my people in my own family break down from this. I've watched people I know that have been friends for 25 years no longer speaking because of this. I've seen these things happen, and it makes me insane, you guys. It truly and honestly makes me insane because all you have to do is put down your fucking phone and sit down and talk to somebody. I know people that refuse to have phone call that won't talk on the phone. If you can't text, then they don't want to talk to you. What is that?
Yeah. I don't know.
It
Look,
doesn't.
one of the things I'm thankful for is that I come from a really big family. And so I had to talk to older people all the time when I was growing
Yeah.
up. And I remember when I first started going to bars, probably earlier than I should have, but I would be sitting at a bar somewhere, maybe New York City or some other place where a lot of different people from different places go. I'd be sitting at the bar drinking a beer, smoking a cig next to somebody in their 50s, and I could have an hour-long conversation with them. Have you ever
Yes.
seen the way that young people communicate today? It's not just people griping like I'm a, grouchy old man. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
When they're sitting side by side, JJ, texting each other, what in the actual fuck is that? Okay, and I've seen that happen with my own children. One's on one corner of the living room, the other's in the other corner of the living room, and they're texting. And I was like, what are you two doing right now? They're laughing and snickering at each other, but they're texting each other. And I said, you're kidding me. These are 28, 30-year-old adults. I said, you're in my house. You can put your phone down and talk to each other. This is ridiculous. Well, what if we don't want our conversation out there? I said, then go in the other room and do it. You don't text each other. Are you kidding me? It makes me insane to see the way that this has happened, you guys. It's sickening to me. And again,
well,
I think it's all been done, and I'm not going down a rabbit hole. I'm just telling you a lot of this, in my opinion, has been done on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a form of control.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, control the information flow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you see it, you see it. If you don't, go look for it. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, this has been an excellent conversation, guys, and an excellent show. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I mean, you guys in the chat, we're here because of you guys, and
Absolutely.
we do our best to bring these cases to you and to deal with some of these social issues. I think these conversations are very important. We don't get into this kind of stuff every night, but when we do, it's from the heart. And this kind of communication, we should all be talking to each other. You're absolutely
Yes.
right, Dago. We should all be talking to each other like this. So, but
Absolutely.
yep. Yeah. So thank
And
you
again, if
guys.
I got loud, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get loud. I'm
No,
a
it's
very
fine.
passionate.
You're fine.
I'm a very
You're
passionate
fine.
person, and
It's
I
okay.
really truly believe in these things, folks, because they've been bothering me for years. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry if I got loud. I didn't mean
You
to.
don't have to be sorry. You're fine.
And
So,
Dago,
but
and I think that goes along too, whether they did it purposely or whatever experts evaluate all this stuff. The fact of the new generations that have such piss poor, communication
Right.
helps divide us. It helps divide us because, as you said, people don't sit down together and work out their differences when they could. So I think it helps divide us. Absolutely.
They don't do a lot of things together. You got that's one of the reasons when I do my whole music night thing, you guys, it's I think people enjoy it so much because we're not sitting in here talking about the same damn case we've talked about for 5 years, but two, it gives you the ability to be yourself and relax and talk to other people in a chat without having to be anything other than you. It'd be nicer if we could do it in person, but in the meanwhile, the one thing that brings us all together and will always bring people together is music. Okay? Because that's what, in my opinion, we all stand by. Period. No matter who you are, what you think, or what you feel, it will always bring you back to you. Okay? I've always believed in that. And that's why I do those things, because it brings people together. It unites people once again. It makes people smile. And it keeps us going in the same direction.
Oh yeah.
So,
when I hopped into your room that other night, I was getting memories of certain things from like high school and college.
Exactly,
It sparks a
because
lot of memories. I mean, even though
bingo.
you weren't allowed to play Tool, but that's okay.
That's YouTube's fault. I wish I could, believe me. But that if people don't know how to talk to each other or approach each other, okay, think about it. And JJ will absolutely agree to this. There's one thing that you can do that will absolutely give you the option to speak to that person. Sing a song together. Talk about a song that you like. Okay? Because it's one thing that brings everybody back. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, very true.
And I know I jumped from one thing to the other. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
It's all good. All good.
To quote the great Ben Harper, music brings people to an emotional state faster than anything in the world.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh,
I agree.
We got
Oh, we got a gift here.
yes.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much,
much, Kawanda.
Kawanda.
I think there's been a concerted effort by the government to dumb down the electorate to have more control in addition to the division. Amen.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you, Miss
Absolutely.
Kawanda. Very sweet of you.
Yep. So, and with that, we are going to wrap it up for the night. Hopefully tomorrow, Boss Mate will be able to join us at some point again, and give us the lowdown on all the setup and who showed up in their sweatpants. So, and thank you guys again for coming out. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we will see you all again tomorrow night. Same time,
Have a-
same bat station.
Have a great night.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Night, guys.